Hello everyone and welcome to Geekonomy channel, and I have some very interesting news for all Severance fans. Today Variety released an interview with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott, and it's not like it's filled with a lot of information about season 3, but it had some very interesting hints that filled me at least with a lot of hope for future days. So let's dive in and see what I was able to find in this interview.
These forks should be very pleasing. Try to enjoy each equally.
Of course, I will leave the links to the interview below this video, but keep in mind that it's mostly about, the history of Ben and Mark, how they got together, and most of the things we kind of already know from the podcast, how they started to work with Apple even before they were even streaming platform. So I tried to find something that may be interesting and new for you. For example, at the beginning there was, with Mark, a little hint of cynicism about Lumon from the start. A shift we made was making him more of a company man at first and letting Haley be the source of that cynicism to creep in, says Scott, referring to Mark's love interest, played by Britt Lauer. So they probably wanted to make Mark more Adam Scott, his usual character. He's always snarky, cynical. We know that Dan Erickson was thinking about Adam Scott when he was writing the character, and Ben Stiller also wanted Adam in the first place, so it kind of makes sense that in the beginning he was this snarky, cynical character towards Lumon, and I'm really glad they made this choice because I love season 1 and it probably was a good idea to change it. Now there is also a very interesting thing. Apparently Stiller even considered stepping in front of the camera. He was toying with playing a doctor of sorts, but the character was scrapped entirely and is not to be confused with the roles played by Robbie Benson and Sandra Bernard in season 2. Not the same doctor, not the doctor from season 2. We talked about it. There was a storyline that we were thinking about, but it just didn't feel right, Stiller says. It's great that I'm not in it. I'm very happy to not have my face on the billboard. I've seen every Severance podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott, and I've seen I don't know how many interviews, and it kind of really feels like Ben is really enjoying being behind the camera and not in front of it, and I'm so happy for him that he's basically living his best life right now. Anyway, maybe this is a doctor we're actually gonna get to see. I don't know, probably not, but still. We also have some information or / confirmation how many episodes have been written for season 3. Long pause. I don't want to talk about where we are in our process. So they're probably already moving somewhere. How many seasons will you make in total? Small green, no comment. Once again, they don't want to give too much. And will John Turturro be back? Big green, no comment. Now, I don't know, obviously this is not a confirmation, he didn't say yes, but the way they played with words here, small green, there's probably gonna be many seasons, and the big green, basically, yeah, you got me. Of course, Turturro is gonna be back. And I've spoke about this in my previous videos. There's absolutely no chance they're gonna leave this storyline. We still don't know who Irving was working for. We have some theories, you can check my video about it, but still, unless they're gonna give us some resolution, it's gonna be a very unresolved gestalt, and it's not something we enjoy. So yeah, please bring John Turturro back. Now the main information here is basically, do you see Severance as a franchise with spin-off shows? Stiller speaks slowly. There are 2 specific ideas that I won't tell you that we've talked about internally as possible spin-off ideas. Asked what stage of development the spin-off ideas are in, or whether they have been discussed with Apple, all Stiller says with a coy smile is, they are nascent. I don't know if I pronounced this correctly, but according to my Google Wikipedia research, this is basically saying that there are some movements in that direction. And it kind of makes sense. Severance is the most watched TV show on Apple TV+. Obviously, you want to monetize that as much as possible. Now, you may be worried that they're planning to do something similar to Marvel Cinematic Universe or whatever Disney done with Star Wars. And no, it's not gonna happen. First of all, because Apple is working on quality. Okay, not every time, they're not hitting it with every TV show they release and with every movie they release, but they're not chasing the amounts of content, they're chasing quality. They're at least trying to do so. They're at least trying to make this connection in the audience mind that everything that's connected to Apple is a very high quality, whether it's their products or whether it's their streaming. If you're gonna go to their streaming, you're gonna see there are a lot of different projects, but all of them are screaming either quality or at least we are trying. They're not gonna try to make it a market of content all about Severance, and it's not the same level of audience, it's not the same level of engagement. And also on top of that, I have a complete trust in the creators. If Ben Stiller and Dan Erickson want to make something else in this world, I do believe it's because this is a story they want to tell. They feel like they need to tell this story, and not just because they want to capitalize on another idea and make more money. I mean, obviously money is always a motivation, but at that level of success, it's cannot be already the only and the main even source of motivation. I think it's creative work. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Now let me know, what do you think? What kind of spin-off would you like to see? Maybe about some of the characters that we already met, or maybe something completely different that happens in this world with this company. Maybe a historical drama about Keir Egan and the way he began his Lumon Industries. I definitely would love to see something like this. I would love to read your comments, let me know what you think, and as usual I want to thank everybody who supports me on this channel, on Patreon. Your financial support what makes this channel possible. You fill me with motivation and you give me responsibility. I will do whatever I can to never disappoint. And if you're looking for more interesting news, you are more than welcome to subscribe and, leave a comment, like, whatever it is. But if you don't feel like it, just by watching this video until the end, you gave me the biggest support possible. I make these videos for you to enjoy. Everything else is just a very nice bonus. Thank you so much. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Meanwhile, bye!